Nikki just did a hood for a Trans Am. Well, it looks amazing. She did a really good job on it. She had some really detailed and precise lines on it. We didn't approve the design first with him. It was just one of those, he said, make my Trans Am Firebird look graffiti style. So we did that. Now we gotta transport it and hope we don't nick anything. Mural coming up for Atomic Tattoo. And we have a mural coming up for a new venture capital firm here in Austin. That was pretty cool. And I went over to his office and they said, all right, so we have a piece of art that we've already gotten. And we like the feeling of that. And we really want to carry that feeling throughout the rest of the office. And so they go in and show me the piece. And it's a piece of mine that I had done in 2014. So that was pretty cool for me because this number of canvas pieces I've painted is just so few. What I really wanted to talk about is about how to deal with lowballers. This guy referred somebody on Facebook to me, which I'm really grateful for. He hits me up on Facebook, says, hey, so-and-so referred me to you. I'm like, that's wonderful. I'm pretty upfront about my rate. I can see how there would be different strategies to that. But I like being upfront about the rate. That way people don't think that I'm like soaking them up for money. I don't want somebody to think, just because I learned that they have a nice car or that they work for Google or something like that, that I'm going to up my rate on them. And I think there's a level of transparency that my clientele can appreciate if I give them the price before I know a lot about them. So I said, here's my rate, what's the size? He sends me the size and then he says, hey, this is kind of what I have in mind. If you could come and meet me up at the wall, we can discuss the details. In the past, I might have done that, but I've learned my lesson a few times. I don't want to waste either one of our time, so I just kind of want to put out there, like make sure he understands the price range that we're talking. So I said, hey buddy, I think it's gonna be about $2,400. And he's like, that doesn't sound right.
Well, I was thinking $200.
Well, that's not going to work. This happens inevitably for everybody who's a freelancer, especially freelance artists, right? What's really important at this point is that you don't make them feel uncomfortable, or that you don't make them feel ashamed, and that they know that you're not insulted, right? There's some really good reasons why you don't want that to happen. One, there is a chance that you can still get the gig. I stay very firm on my square foot rate, and so I'll say something like, hey, look, my price per square foot, that's really not going to change much. But we can shrink down the mural and we can get creative with the way that we make the mural so that it fits within your budget. You know, there's a lot of room that we can play with. So if you can kind of tell me what your budget is, I can help you resize the mural or simplify the content in a way that makes this a better option for you. And some people's, that's still not going to work, especially like in this guy's case, his price was $200. That's below my minimum. And so it's kind of a non-starter there. So at that point, it's kind of clear that I'm not going to get the job. All right. So there's a few things that need to happen. I want to make sure that it's clear that they shouldn't feel bad. And what that does is it opens up a future for you. Pretty predictably, every year, we're going to get somebody who calls us and says, hey, I want a mural. We give them a rate and they kind of just disappear. They'll go and they'll hire an amateur, and that amateur will either just disappear in the middle of the project. That's really common. Also very common is they just don't do a good job, or they will try and copy a more advanced artist. They don't, for whatever reason, they don't have what it takes to accomplish that. After a kind of failure and wasting money, every year we'll get somebody who calls us back and says, I now understand why you guys charge the rate that you do. I'll pay the rate that you've quoted me. But if you're a jerk, that's not gonna happen, right? Like if they feel bad working, like if they're embarrassed to call you again, you're not gonna get a second shot. And in their minds in the future, they're probably gonna hold you up here at this higher level because you did have good art, because you did charge a high price and you stood by that. You were self-respecting and you respected them. And when there does come an opportunity down the line in the future, maybe they have more of their own funds or they've got somebody else's funds to spend, you get a call back, right? That's happened to me multiple times where somebody wanted to get art from us, and while the project then didn't work out, we heard from them while they were working for another company down the line where we were able to get hired for them. And that's always a neat feeling that, like, maybe it didn't pan out, but I feel good that we left on terms that were really positive and uplifting, and that we still held that spot in that person's mind and heart. Another reason why you don't want to make them feel bad, just because their expectations for pricing may not have met up with the reality of what your price is that maybe you're not the right artist for them. Maybe their expectations on price are realistic for what they actually need. Maybe if it's a laser tag arena where the lights are usually off and no one's going to sit there and look at the art for any amount of time because everybody's running around in the dark, maybe they don't need a $10,000 mural, right? Well, you shouldn't make them feel bad, especially if they don't need an artist of your caliber, right? Or of that price. And if you want to go have fun and like not charge your regular rate, that's cool too. This is kind of a different story if this is like a hotel lobby, or if this is a dining area in a restaurant, or if it's the front of a store, the waiting area in an office. Like, those are things where you really want to make sure that you're spending the amount of money to get a professional artist who understands what they're doing, somebody who knows how to be safe, somebody who knows how to cover things, and somebody who has fine art skills, or whatever we call it in graffiti. I don't know what we are. We're not like a fine art, I guess. I don't know. Some people are fine art. I don't know. Anyway, you may not be the perfect artist for everybody, and that's okay. And that's another reason to not be insulted. Another thing, so like let's say you are at the point where it's kind of a foregone conclusion, right? I wouldn't want my friends to have to paint what he was asking for that price. But I did say, hey, look, I do have some friends who are kind of up and coming. I think that they would do this for less than $1,000. If you want, I can contact them. And he was like, no, I've got 2 people already who will do it for $200. And so, hopefully that works out for him. If it doesn't, maybe I'll be hearing back from him later. Final thing, don't be a dick. Don't be a drama queen. Don't be a diva. All right. Artists get kind of a bad rep for being hard to deal with. That's not good for anybody, right? Like, that's not good for the art community at large. That's not good for all the hustlers and all the people who are trying to make a living as an artist. When you make artists seem very hard to work with, people are going to be more likely to not work with us, right? Or they're not going to want to pay as much money because the perceived risk is much higher there. They're not going to feel as confident in spending that kind of money on art. And then make sure and treat everybody, respectfully and great, because that could come back to you one way or another in the most unusual ways. Probably like 30 to 40% of our business is repeat clients, people that come back to us, most of whom I would never have expected to hear from ever again. In even the smallest projects, the hardest projects, you never know when that person's going to come back with something massive for you later under different circumstances. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that kind of gives you some insights, some help. I hope somebody is able to gain from that and able to apply that to their own business. And best of luck next time you're negotiating with somebody, and hopefully the lowballers won't make you feel bad, and hopefully you don't make them feel bad. If you have any recommendations on how to deal with lowballers, put them in the comments and help everybody else out. Like and subscribe. Not only am I going to be sharing videos like this, I also have videos of our murals that we do. That's it. See you next time.